Hi, so we're going to start with our first project for today. We're starting out very simple. We're going to use some basic tools for paper crafting. And we're going to create a wine tag holder, which is perfect for this holiday and gift giving season. Oh, it's all shiny, it doesn't show up too well. I'll bring it down here in a second. And I thought this would be great for this time of year. One, it's simple. Let me bring you down so you can see. It is a simple project, but it's also, we're all going to, Christmas parties and holiday parties, even birthday parties, and you want to bring a bottle of wine, but this allows you to kind of dress it up a little bit. It's a little bit shimmery and shiny. We got some gold metallics paper here, and there's a place on the back where you can write a little note so they know who gave it to you. So let's start our project. Let's move this over here. So we are using a stamp set called Birthday Blossoms. So it's a great set. I love that it has Celebrate You and the Best Day Ever, because those can kind of mean go beyond a birthday. So, and it's got some nice flowers that are good for coloring, or you can leave them, stamp them in color and leave them as is. So this is a good set. So we're going to start by cutting paper. Oh, here we go. All right. And I'm going to use the Stampin trimmer. It has a cutting blade and a scoring blade. So you can do a couple things at once. So for the base of my wine tag, so the paper is 8.5 inches by 11 inches, and so I want to use the 8.5 side, and I'm going to cut at 3 inches. All right, so that's my first cut. Then what I want to do is I want to score it. So I'm going to score it at 2 3/4 for the bend. And so I can use the scoring blade, or I can take a bone folder and do that right in the line, which will make it a little deeper. I'm going to remove that. Move this cutting board away for a second. So you can see the score line in it. I don't want to score it right yet. I want to add the hole for the wine bottle. So I'm going to use a 2-inch circle punch. And what I'm going to do, this is my little trick. I'm going to take let's take a pencil, and I'm going to eyeball the center from this score line up. And I think the center is about here. So now when I place the paper in my punch, I'm going to try and place that dot that I wrote with the pencil in the center of my circle and punch. So it's pretty centered. So that is, so let me cut some other paper and we'll see. So the pretty paper that we're using is called Year of Cheer Specialty Design Series paper, and it's specialty because it's metallic. So it's got this shine to it. It is one-sided. It comes in 12 by 12 packs. I got a small piece over here that I'm going to use that I've already cut down from other projects. So here I want this to be, looking at my little cheat sheet, to be 5.5 by 2 3/4. So this is already 5.5. So I just want to cut this at 2 3/4. All right. And then the Whisper White piece that's on the back, I'm going to cut this also. So we're going to cut this at 5.5. So I'm cutting it in half. Move this aside. And then I'm going to cut this also at 2 3/4. All right, and that is all the cutting we're going to do. All right, so now here I have all my cut pieces, and I'm going to bring back the 2-inch punch. What I want to do is I want to round the corners. So I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to slide my paper in to, oops, there we go, into the cutting section of the circle on the from the back here, and I'm going to punch. That is what's going to round my corners. And so, and then I got to get that piece out of my punch, and I'm going to repeat that on all 4 corners of my base tag here. There we go, and up here too. There we go. Oops. Wow. You got to get the old pieces out first. There we go. It's there we go. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Boom. So there is my base card. Throw those away. And now I'm going to want to repeat that on just the bottom, so just on 2 corners of these 2 pieces of paper. So again, same process. Let's stick this in. Make sure everything's out. Yep. There we go. Till I want to push it in until this side and this side touch the circle. This seems to be my biggest part. There we go. My biggest dilemma is getting the extra piece out. There we go. There we go. So that's all I want to do on this one. And then the same thing with the whisper white. Boom. Boom. So there we go. There's our pieces. So let's adhere these 2 pieces onto the basic black. And I'm going to do that with snail. And everyone kind of says, what is snail the first time? It is snail adhesive. I don't know what snail stands for, but this is a snail. It has a little door here, and it's a tape runner. And this one's, it's permanent, and your tape is where the door is. So that's going to be on this side here. So I'm going to hold it like kind of like I'm holding a pencil almost, and I'm just going to run it down. Let's see, so I want this to be my back. So I attach this here. Just make sure I'm not putting it over. And I'm going to do the same thing here. All right, so now our base of our tag is all set. So now I want to take another piece of whisper white here, and I'm going to be stamping, and I'm going to stamp with, oops, I'm going to choose these flowers for accent and the Celebrate You. So I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to get a piece of my grid paper to protect my surface, and here's my whisper white, and I'm going to use soft suede. I wanted to kind of say neutral colors for the tag, and we're going to start with the flower, and I'm going to ink it up. Actually, and what I want to do is I want to what's called stamp off, and that's going to make the stamping a little lighter. So I'm going to stamp once on my scrap piece of paper, and then let's see, oops, turn it this way. I'm going to stamp on my paper, and there we go. So then I'm going to ink it up one more time. Again, I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to stamp this way. And there are my flowers. So I'm going to stop there with that. And now I'm going to use Archival Basic Black. This ink pad is different. The Archivals have what's called like a linen top, which is a pad which is the opposite of the other ones. The colors all have a foam pad. The foam pads will give out more ink. So now I'm going to stamp the Celebrate You. And this is going, let's get some on my finger, wipe that off. And I'm going to aim for kind of this center spot in the middle. And there we go. So now what I should have worried about, which I didn't hear, was that this is way in the middle and I can't get my punch in there. So I'm going to have to trim it with my scissors. But let's get in there, yeah. So I was trying to demonstrate, what I was doing. Hold on. Find some scissors. So I'm just going to trim this. There we go. All right. So you do have a lot of wiggle room. There is a lot of room in the punches. I just didn't have that much room. So now I'm going to line it up in the back here the way I want it. I think that looks good. And punch. So there is my greeting. And so, all right, so here I am. So I'm going to take, this is a foil snowflake, and I'm going to take, this is called gold edged, metallic edged ribbon. So I'm going to take, let's do this eyeball, and we're going to trim the ribbon here. Okay, so final pieces to put together. So what I want to do is I'm going to use dimensionals. Dimensionals are a double adhesive, so they're double adhesive both sides, but they are foam, so they will give the project lift, adding a shadow line, kind of gives the product some dimension. So we're going to stick a few of these on the back of the snowflake, and I'm going to remove then the backing. And we're going to attach that in the center of my wine tag. So now I want to attach my ribbon, and I'm going to use, these are glue dots, and all I'm going to do is find my dot on the page. So attach it here, attach my ribbon, attach my ribbon here, and that's about where I want that again. I'm going to find the next dot on the piece of paper. I got my finger where I want it, and I'll bring it up, attach, the dot comes over onto the ribbon, and put it down. There we go. So now going back to dimensionals, and I attach those on the back of my greeting. I had stamped before on my back by mistake. I did full strength, so I redid it. So good thing about paper, it has two sides. If you make a mistake, you can usually just flip it over and do it again. So I'm going to take off these backings of the dimensionals, and we're going to line this up and place that down. Now I just want to trim my ribbon. I purposely kind of leave it long, then I can tweak as necessary. So I think this side looks good, so I'm just going to try and even it up a little bit. Let's see, what if I did, there we go. So that looks just like my original, pretty much. I think I did a good job. So now you can write a little note to Mary and John from Linda at Crafty Stampin'. Merry Christmas. Thank you for inviting me to your house. Oops, there we go. So we got our wine bottle. There we go.